Cheryl is a mother of 3 teenagers, but the Reborns are giving her a different kind of joy.
It kind of really boosts like the dopamine to bring you a feeling of calmness and peace. It brought back the spark of my love for dolls when I was younger, but it also has helped immensely with my anxiety over the years.
Hi guys, welcome back to another React. Today, Debbie and I are looking at a video about ultra realistic Reborn dolls and their rise in popularity. We're talking about the effect these dolls have on the people who are collecting them and caring for them. Before we dive in, can you please like, subscribe and ring the notification bell?
So this is my nursery. I call it Butterfly Nursery. Victoria has beautiful pierced ears. So he has like this little fade going on. I can actually curl her hair, straighten her hair, just like I do mine. She's one of the only ones that can take a full pacifier. He has gorgeous hair, gorgeous curls. I think I bonded with him because he has a very like mama's boy face.
In Cheryl Wood's nursery, the babies don't cry, they don't grow. They're called Reborn dolls.
So this is a dimple sculpt. He has these cute dimples here, and gorgeous smile. There's veining that will be added sometimes on the arms or even on the face. I love smiling, grumpy, serious, anything. It just kind of adds life to the nursery. Tate was a custom. I got to pick his eye color, skin tone, his hairstyle, his hair color. For me with Tate, I think he really reminds me of my boys when they were little.
These are hyper-realistic, handmade, and high-priced dolls.
I have 38 Reborn dolls. Silicones will start at about $1,800 and they go all the way up to $10,000. She was $3,000. She has.
That is crazy money. I mean, I know I've seen those dolls before and I know that they are really expensive, but that kind of money, and to have, what did she say, 38?
38.
I mean, I can't do that maths, but that's a lot.
Because she has the wiring in her arms, I can make her look even more lifelike.
Cheryl is a mother of 3 teenagers, but the Reborns are giving her a different kind of joy.
It kind of really boosts like the dopamine to bring you a feeling of calmness and peace. It brought back the spark of my love for dolls when I was younger, but it also has helped immensely with my anxiety over the years.
Reborn dolls are now a global phenomenon. Cheryl is just one of tens of thousands of women collecting these dolls.
Day in a life of taking care of my Reborns, part 1. First, I get them out of bed and make them all breakfast.
Fueled by social media like this doll mom, who goes by The Dolls Aren't Real on Instagram, where she treats them like real kids, pretending to handle everyday routines.
Change your diaper.
Taking them to Target.
Wow, that is precious.
Or even giving one a spa day. Their appeal has also played out on TV. M. Night Shyamalan's Apple TV thriller, Servant, portrayed a Reborn as a source of solace for a grieving mother.
We lost Jericho when he was 13 weeks. Dorothy took it hard. This is the only thing that brought her back.
We're inside the West Coast Doll Show, and there's dolls just like this, Reborns. This one's Logan. He's worth $1,500.
It's the largest doll show here in California.
Here in Los Angeles,
I'm going to get my baby.
hundreds have come to buy,
Those are little nano preemie diapers.
sell,
Great prices.
It's kind of like, okay, can I just take them all?
and show off Reborn dolls.
This is the baby that I sculpted, the real baby I sculpted.
Where playing with dolls is serious business.
I bought her hair from a barber.
He is going to go home and join a embarrassingly large collection.
Some people traveled across the country like Suhaidi Nemus, a Reborn doll influencer who has 2.8 million followers on TikTok.
I have a whole room for the boys, and I also have a whole room for the girls too.
That turned into my job. Out of nowhere, when I was 16, I started making money.
The price tags can be staggering.
My last doll I bought was $5,400. I have hundreds, so you do the math.
So together they were about $2,500.
This Reborn doll is $10,000.
This is very soft and so real.
Janie Scott is the founder of the West Coast Doll Show and a Reborn artist herself.
Women get the stigmatism that they can't collect, that they can't have anything. You know, they're homemakers, they're workers, and they do everything for everybody else. And this to me is for them.
Now, for many, this may seem confusing or just plain weird. Why do people take these dolls everywhere they go?
And what do your daughters say to see you being involved with this?
They think I'm crazy.
How come? What do they tell you?
My house is creepy. They don't want to stay there, and they think I've lost my mind.
I don't think it's weird. I know some people think it's very, very weird. But I don't think it's like a mental disorder to like them.
I have my hobby, she has hers. I support hers and she supports mine.
But many tell us these lifelike dolls can be a source of comfort.
You're having a bad day and you look at this and it just makes everything better.
What is it that initially drew you into collecting?
My daughter, when she left, I kind of lost my way, and I ended up getting into the doll world. 1 turned into 2, 2 turned into 5, 5 turned into 10. I couldn't stop.
Holding a doll, it releases oxytocin. It's the hormone that makes you feel happy. I don't have kids, so and they don't cry, and I don't send them to college, so it's perfect.
Susan Gibbs, a silicone artist, turned her childhood dream into a career, even making Reborn dolls for Hollywood movies, like Ron Howard's island thriller Eden, when Sydney Sweeney's character gives birth.
Outside the doll world, there'll be comments like, "Oh, that's freaky, it looks so real." But then as an artist, oh, thank you. That was my goal.
The hyper-realistic detail goes deep.
Even the details on the back of the hand, like it's got little veins and the little nail tips.
These are silicone tongues.
So these are tongues,
Wow.
yep.
The hair rooted one strand at a time, sometimes from actual human hair.
Her hair is human. It was cut from an actual real child.
Okay.
And the smell.
What is baby perfume?
Baby perfume is usually made by an artist, and it's different oils and stuff that they put in the bottle, and you spray it on the baby, and it gives the smell of a baby. It really brings nostalgia back to people, especially if they save their children's baby clothes.
And collecting them has become a serious business, just like Labubus or sneakers or even baseball cards.
Daily, there's about 50 transactions. There's 600 artists and sellers.
Dave Stack is the founder of Reborns.com, one of the largest marketplaces in the U.S. to buy and sell Reborn dolls. Now, a younger generation is giving the craft a new look.
When I first got into it, it was a lot of a older demographic, but now you see people like me, people in high school, people in college, also into this, and I feel like it's erasing that stigma that it's something like weird or it's something odd. Like, it's actually cool.
Dea Johnson, an LA artist, discovered Reborns on YouTube. She creates and sells her own through Bonnet Babies.
There are comments that we see when she's putting the dolls to bed or whatnot. People react really strongly and negatively to that. What is your take?
I feel like people always find things strange that they don't know or they're not familiar with, but it's the same as any other content. People record themselves just laying down in the bed and pretending to go to sleep. So what's the difference between doing that same thing with the dolls?
For Cheryl Wood, she hopes this increased popularity leads to more understanding of why people collect these dolls.
So we're at the Simi Town Center. The little outdoor mall I'll come to sometimes.
Now, Cheryl brings her dolls out every week, no longer worried about hiding them from people.
I would keep a blanket over and keep them covered. And I've gotten to the point where I do this, where I go out and they're not covered at all. I used to be nervous, and I just do my thing, and I don't really care what people think.
Wow. Where do we start here? So I fully understand where people feel that the dolls are compensating. Certainly when children get older and leave home and women have that empty nest type syndrome. And I can assimilate that to people going through a fertility journey and they've had loss and terrible sadness and just want to hold that baby in their arms. And this could be a support mechanism for those embarking those types of sad journeys within fertility, I can understand as you're taking your baby out and the whole complexities around, this doll in a pram and assimilating it to a live baby, to everything that they're doing, feeding the baby, sitting the baby up and feeding, changing its nappy, doing those things that you don't need to do within a doll. And that's the bit that I don't find hard to understand, but we're all unique and we're all different, and we all compensate with whatever's going on in our lives in different ways. And if a doll therapy supports somebody that needs that at that moment in time, then who are we to judge whether that's wacky or not, as one of the ladies said within the context there. And even that her own children said that she was a bit of a crazy lady, and they felt freaked out going into the house by seeing all these dolls, etc. And I'm sure any of us that have children, our children coming back home and seeing their mothers with babies now, with dolls, playing at being mummy all over again. It's a difficult one. I'm not sure what your thoughts are, Gemma, and where you are.
I agree with you. I would hope that for anyone who's collecting or using these dolls as a form of therapy, because they've suffered loss or grief or for a kind of negative reason, I would hope that they are also receiving other forms of support through counselling, therapy, additional tools, I guess, that could help them through their grief. Because my feeling is if somebody became too reliant on caring for these dolls, that in itself might become unhealthy for that individual. If they're not able to find a different way to get through their grief.
I think what I found surprising in there as well was there was a number of younger women that may not have had any grief, and they're enjoying this doll therapy in a completely different context. They're not grieving, they're not trying to replace a baby that they've lost, or an empty nest syndrome or fertility. Who knows what their reason is for that. And I found that this one of those girls there was at university, and you think, well, okay, we are all different, and we do support ourselves in different ways, whatever that therapeutic response is from having the dolls and dressing the dolls and feeding the dolls and looking after and nurturing them in the way that you would a baby or a small child, because some of them are like small children size, 1 to 2 years of age, replicating. It's I don't think there's anything wrong in finding a way to support yourself when you're either at a loss or in a full grieving state. I agree with you fully, Gemma, that as long as there's some real support there to help you understand what that is looking like, and that it is grief or it is some other form of response to what's happening within your life at that moment in time. And not all of the women in that video there were necessarily grieving. This was like a hobby to them.
That's the thing. It's
a
like
very expensive hobby, as you said earlier. $10,000 for a look-alike baby. And then there was another one that she had a picture of a baby. Was that her real baby that she'd lost? And she had this doll modelled on that baby. It wasn't clear in the video what that was. I think that could be a concerning factor without the proper support, because she's trying to replace potentially a child that she's lost, and even having something that looks completely like that child that she lost. But that's just us assuming with what what was happening without having any clear context within it. I don't think there's any right or wrong, and who is anybody to judge anybody on the support that they set themselves up for. If that's going to give somebody support and therapy to get them through whatever time they're going through in their lives, then who on earth is anybody else to judge?
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who aren't collecting the dolls and using the dolls, I guess, for any kind of therapy support, and literally just this is their hobby, this is their special interest. It's no different from anyone who's collects really expensive rare coins or stamps or train memorabilia, or and literally countless interests that people have. It's obviously very big business as well, because there's hundreds of people making the dolls and the accessories and all the bits and pieces that go with it. It's obviously huge business, particularly in California, from the looks of it, if that's where that kind of hub was. And you've got to admire the skill and the detail that's gone into it. As the lady who was the artist said, actually when people say, oh, they're really realistic, from an artist's perspective, that must be really lovely to hear, because they are. Like, if you glanced at one of them,
you have to have a double take, don't you? And especially if somebody's out in a buggy and they've got a baby all wrapped up with
I would just think one of those was real. I wouldn't even question it. I mean, they're amazingly intricate, detailed. That's a massive skill.
You can also imagine, like, especially the lady that was carrying one on her hip.
Yeah.
And if you met that woman, you were talking to her, and then you realise that child's not moving. What's happening with that child? And so people's interactions with that would be just incredible to watch and see. Just seeing people's expressions on their faces when they realise it is actually a doll and not a real live baby or a small child. It's fascinating. I think it's absolutely fascinating. But I would be, particularly on a fertility journey, the support mechanisms that's needed to support people through some of the rocky roads of fertility and the loss that occurs on that rocky road can be overwhelming. So just making sure that the support that they have, even if it is temporarily within holding a doll and having the support from that doll and nurturing a doll in the way that they would have done a baby, the bigger picture is, what does that end up looking like for that person without the right support? So we must be as clinical. We must be really mindful if we are aware of that somebody is responding in that way, that they are getting the right support in the right place. Thank you for listening. Gemma and I have just discussed what it means for these people that are collecting these reborn dolls. Is it crazy? Is it therapeutic? Is it supportive? The comments that we've given on this video are our own. So if you would like to comment further, then please do so below. But remember, people really do collect these dolls. So be kind, be considerate of what you're saying. Thank you again for watching. And before you go, could you please like, subscribe and ring that notification bell? And we'll see you again next time.